Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we're going to cover all missing characters for the Warriors of Chaos, specifically those of Slaanesh. So without further ado, let's begin. A while back I covered the possible missing legendary lords for the Warriors of Chaos, but I did mention that should we split the Warriors of Chaos into its respective gods, then we'd get much more characters. Especially once we start going into much older editions. This series was highly requested, so I believe now is the best time to start. Today we'll be covering the Champions of Slaanesh, which admittedly has the smallest amount of possible legendary lords out of all 4 Chaos gods. Please bear in mind, any characters that did not receive an official model will be represented by a generic character model. Chaos Warriors dedicated to the Dark Prince of Chaos are regarded by the people of the North as walking avatars of their god. Their bodies are clad in Chaos armor, gifted to them by their fell patron and fused to their flesh in a hideous symbiotic union. Many leave portions of pale flesh bare as if to titillate their opponents with the illusion of weakness, inviting them to attempt to strike at that imagined weak spot. Chaos Warriors of Slaanesh truly walk the path of damnation and excess, and the strongest are fated to become mighty champions. Consumed by their own dark passions, they appear distant and something other than human. Their followers bathe in this otherworldly glory, driven by the need for their master's approval to commit further atrocity. Enemies are frequently struck dumb by the sight of Slaanesh's champions, unable to raise a shield to ward the blow that brings their own doom. First we'll look towards Morella de Arlette, a sorcerer within the court of Saragosse. Though her name is Bretonnian, her mother married a second time to a noble of Saragosse. Initially, she was afraid to go to Estalia as a child, for the journey was long and the hills were steep. Yet she loves it now, and takes pride in her adopted homeland. Morella is described as a woman with bright, covetous eyes, like those of a carrion crow perched upon the scaffold, while the stench of the hanged was still upon the air. That said, she is handsome in her own way. Though no longer young, it is not easy to guess her age, as there are no crow's feet by her eyes, nor wrinkles in her neck. But there is something within her manner that gives her away. Her full lips are carried slightly forward, as in a perpetual slight pout, or as though she is about to lick them in anticipation of some tasty sweet meal, a sensationalist through and through. Next we have Isik Kul, a chaos sorcerer of Slaanesh of at least 300 years, serving as a well-known torturer within the city of Nargothrond, under the auspices of the Witch King himself. Though he has forsaken all bonds with his species, the human appears youthful, broad and muscular, made iron hard by his time in the old world and a lifetime of war and excess. Leather coils hold a patchwork of contoured plates tightly against his tanned flesh, armor glistening and undulating like raw pink meat, and his skin gleaming with scented oils. Lustrous golden hair tops a libertine, full-featured and handsome face to the point of beauty, only to end with cruel wide eyes that only know wicked indulgence and the obsession of a wanton fetishist. He wields a glorious and elaborate sword of sweeping curves and cruel spikes, whose quillons of bone prickle at the hand, whilst a razor worked into the handle scores the pain, even as Kul spins the blade into a rippling sheath across his back. Isik sees the elves as far superior subjects to the poor specimens of the northern wastes. To those used to a life of misery and hardship, torture means little, but to the effete souls raised in a land of plenty and have never known the brutality of life beyond their pampered existence, it is a nightmare that enhances Kul's pleasures tenfold. While this character had no model, there could be a certain uniqueness when added into the Warriors of Chaos roster. Seeing as this character views elves higher above any others, it could be a way to introduce some dark elves to his specific horde. Maybe in the form of a minor building, which is only available to him, which would bring in the Dark Elves from the Cult of Slaanesh, later known as the Cult of Pleasure, into the fold. Next we have Vandred the Majestic. Blessed with a lightning-fast serpentine body and 4 arms, Vandred was extremely deadly in combat. His prowess garnered the attention of the ever-chosen of Chaos, Archaon, who chose him to be one of his great lieutenants. Unfortunately, this character never received that much lore, being killed off just as quickly as he was introduced. A rather big shame in all honesty, as it was not common to see Slaaneshi characters with such heavy mutations. Next we have Styrka. Born in Norska as the son of Svengor, the chieftain of a Norse tribe, his mind has been plagued since birth by a demonic entity known as Slezuzu. Following the whisperings of the demon, the young boy became a charming youth and a successful leader of his first own raids on the coasts of the Old World. His father was eaten away by jealousy and insulted his son, who murdered him during a great feast after a victorious raid. After that, Styrka's mind merged with that of the demon, and the young champion became the new leader of the tribe. He erected an altar in the name of Slaanesh and was granted with an alabaster white skin, an elaborate suit of chaos armor, and a snake-like steed of Slaanesh. He led his tribe through the Chaos Wastes, and against the armies of the champions of the other three Chaos Gods, and even against rival champions of Slaanesh. After killing Vandred, one particular champion of Slaanesh, who was said to be Archaon's chosen, he was confronted by Archaon himself. But the two warlords didn't fight. Instead, Styrka asked for and became one of Archaon's lieutenants, and led one part of his great army during the Storm of Chaos. Unfortunately, Vandred and Styrka were never really expanded upon much. They existed throughout the lifespan of 6th edition Warhammer Fantasy, but that's pretty much it. Which is a shame, as they both had very interesting models, at least in my opinion, and I believe they both deserve some sort of spotlight. But now we'll look towards one of the more well-known Slaaneshi characters that have yet to be implemented into the Total War Warhammer series, but may have one of the best chances. T'Challa, the Denied One. T'Challa is the mistress of the Tormentors, the greatest of all of the Slaaneshi warbands to have ever roamed the Chaos Wastes. She is as cruel as she is beautiful, as pitiless as she is beguiling. The earliest records of the ravages of T'Challa reach down through the centuries. Some say that she was blessed with great age by Slaanesh, or maybe the legends that she was once a High Elf princess are true. T'Challa is mutated beyond recognition, making her a creature of chaos more akin to a demon than a mortal. Her skin is smooth and milk white. Her legs have been replaced by the lithe and sinuous body of a snake. Her multi-headed tail cracks like a whip and drips with poison. Her multitude of arms grasp heavy-bladed swords, and her deep blue eyes glow with inner light, promising terrible pain and pleasure to any who dare stand before her. She has beauty that only Slaanesh may grant, but it is as unearthly and disturbing as it is irresistible. Her visage evokes loathing as much as it arouses pleasure. T'Challa seeks the ultimate self-indulgence and freedom from the shackles of law and order. But she desires this pleasure only for herself. Others can suffer and die as long as her wishes are fulfilled. She is served by a host of slaves, victims of her hideous poisons that erodes both the will and the body. In battle, T'Challa is an enchanting sight, her snake-like body dancing to her muse, her patron, and as delicate and as sensuous as her movements are, they are nonetheless lethal to those who dare stand to oppose her. And many an opponent has been cut to pieces whilst entranced by her dance. On the tabletop during 5th edition, T'Challa was quite a powerful character. She had unusually high weapon skill, movement, strength, toughness, and even attacks. She was one of those characters that you'd commonly see within warbands of Slaanesh. She had 2 available magical items. The Elixir of Damnation made sure that no enemies could actively attack her, and the second item was more of an augment, which was known as Many Arms, which gave her an extra attack. But what really made this character stand out over all others was her special rules, known as Dances of Slaanesh, which goes as follows. Even battle is a way for T'Challa to please her master. She dances across the battlefield sensuously, her blades making eerie whistling music to accompany her movements. Pick one of the following dances at the beginning of each of your turns. This effect applies until the beginning of your next turn. The Praise of Slaanesh, which would make her almost impossible to hit. Any type of attacks directed to her, either shooting or hand-to-hand combat, would suffer a -1 to hit. Dance of Destruction would give her a +1 to hit to all her hit rolls. And lastly, Dagger Dance, which allowed her to deflect any incoming attacks at the cost of her own attacks. These could be translated rather easily. Each of these dances could be a specific augment that she can use every now and then. When using one, the other 2 would be locked until the cooldown would be reached. Praise of Slaanesh would make her harder to hit. Dance of Destruction would make her more powerful in melee combat, and Dagger Dance could probably just give her a ward save for a while, maybe even regeneration. This was one of my favourite characters, and I think that she's got a lot of standing for a possible new legendary lord for the Warriors of Chaos if they ever start focusing on mono gods. But what do you guys think about the missing Warriors of Chaos for Slaanesh? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and let's start a bit of a discussion. Now, as I stated, the other Chaos Gods have loads more characters, so the videos in reference to Khorne, Nurgle and Tzeentch will be much larger. Which is why I wanted to get Slaanesh out of the way first, so I could start focusing on seeing the others done soon after. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various different links to social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using our special link and also using our special code, both of which are in the description below, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to our patrons Gibraltar LUSC and Ryan Bertsche for subscribing to us at our Fane level. Honestly, you guys are super cool. And a big thank you to our patron Edward Hewell for subscribing to us at our King level. Mate, you're super awesome. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very soon. Have a good day.